everyone, I'm Mona and I'm reading the Bhagwat Gita or the Song Divine on this channel. And today I'll be reading chapter 6. So let's begin. Sri Bhagavan said, He who does who does his duty without expecting the fruit of actions is a sannyasi, Sankhya yogi, and a yogi, Karma yogi both. He is no sannyasi who has merely renounced the sacred fire. Even so, he is no yogi who has merely given up all activity. Arjun, you must know that what they call sannyas is no other than yoga. For none become a yogi who has not abandoned his sankalps, thoughts of the world. To the contemplative soul who desires to attain Karma Yoga, selfless action is said to be the means for the same man when he is established in yoga. Absence of all sankalps, thought of the world, is said to be the way of blessedness. When a man ceases to have any attachment for the objects of senses and for actions and has renounced all sankalps, he is said to have attained yoga. One, one should lift oneself by one's own efforts and should not degrade oneself, for one's own self is one's friend and one's own self is one's enemy. One's own self is the friend of the soul by whom the lower self, consisting of the mind, senses, and body, has been conquered. Even so, the very self of him who has not conquered his lower self behaves antagonistically, even like an enemy. The Supreme Spirit is rooted in the knowledge of the self-controlled man whose mind is perfectly serene in the midst of pairs of opposites, such as cold and heat, joy and sorrow, and honor and ignominy. The yogi whose mind is sated with Jnana, the knowledge of Nirgun Brahma, and Vijnana, the knowledge of manifest divinity, who is unmoved under any circumstances, whose senses are completely under control, and to whom earth, stone, and gold are all alike, is spoken of as a God realized soul. He who looks upon well wishers and neutrals as well as mediator, friends and foes, relatives and inimicals, the virtuous and the sinful with equanimity stands supreme. Living in seclusion all by himself, the yogi who has controlled his mind and body and is free from desires and void of possessions should constantly, constantly engage his mind in meditations. Having firmly set his seat in a spot which is free from dirt and other impurities with the sacred kusa grass, a deerskin and a cloth spread thereon, once upon the other, kusa below, deerskin in the middle, and cloth uppermost, neither very high nor very low, and occupying that seat, concentrating the mind and controlling the function of the mind and senses, he should practice yoga for self purification, holding the trunk, head, neck straight and steady, remaining firm and fixing the gaze on the tip of his nose without looking in other directions, firm in the vow of complete chastity and fearless, keeping himself perfectly calm and with the mind held in restraint and fixed on me. The vigilant yogi should sit absorbed in me. Thus constantly applying his mind to me, the yogi of disciplined mind attains everlasting peace, consisting of supreme bliss, which abides in me. Arjun, this yoga is neither for him who overeats nor for him who observes complete fast. It is neither for him who is given to all much too much sleep, nor even for him who is ceaselessly awake. Yoga, which reads one of woe, is accomplished only by him who is regulated in diet and recreations, regulated in performing actions, and regulated in sleep and wakefulness. When the mind, which is thoroughly disciplined, gets riveted on God alone, then the person who is free from yearning for all enjoyments is said to be established in yoga. As a flame does not flicker in a windless place, such is stated to be the picture of the disciplined mind of the yogi practicing meditation on God. The state in which the citta mind stuff, subdued through the practice of yoga, becomes completely tranquil, and in which realizing God through subtle reasoning purified by meditations on God, the soul rejoices only in God. Nay, in which the soul experiences the eternal and supersensuous joy which can be intuited only through the subtle and purified intellect, and wherein established the said yogi moves not from the truth on any account, and having obtained which he does not reckon any other gain as greater than that, and established in which he is not shaken even by the heaviest of sorrows. That state called yoga, which is free from the contact of sorrow in the form of transmigration, should be known. Nay, this yoga should be resolutely practiced with an unwearied mind, completely renouncing all desire arising from sankalps, thought of the world, and fully restraining all the senses from all sides by the mind. He should through gradual practice attain tranquillity, and fixing the mind on God through reasons controlled by steadfastness, he should not think of anything else. Drawing back the restless and fidgety mind from all those objects after which it runs, he should repeatedly fix it on God. For to the yogi whose mind is perfectly serene, who is sinless, whose passion is subdued, and who is identified with Brahma, the embodiment of truth, knowledge, and bliss, supreme happiness comes as a matter of course. The sinless yogi, thus uniting himself constantly with God, easily enjoys the eternal bliss of oneness with Brahma. The yogi, who is united in identity with the all-pervading infinite consciousness, whose vision everywhere is even, beholds the self existing in all beings and all beings as assumed in the self. He who sees me, the universal self present in all beings and all beings existing with me, he is never out of my sight, nor am I ever out of his sight. The yogi whose established is union with me and worships me as residing in all beings as their very self. Whatever activities he performed them in me. Arjun, he who looks on all as one, on the analogy of his own self, and looks upon the joy and sorrow of all equally, such a yogi is deemed to be the highest of all. Arjun said, Krishna, owing to restlessness of mind, I do not perceive the stability to this yoga in the form of equanimity, which you have just spoken of. For Krishna, the mind is very unsteady, turbulent, tenuous, and powerful. Therefore, I consider it as difficult to control as the wind. Sri Bhagwan said, the mind is restless, no doubt, the difficult to curb, Arjun, but it can be brought under control by repeated practice of meditation and by the exercise of this passion, O son of Kunti. Yoga is difficult of achievement by one whose mind is not subdued by him. However, who has the mind under control, and is ceaselessly striving, it can be easily attained through practice. Such is my conviction. Arjun said, Krishna, what becomes of the aspirant who, though endowed with faith, has not been able to subdue his passions, and whose mind is therefore diverted from yoga at the time of death, and who thus fails to reach perfection in yoga, God realization? Krishna, served from the path leading to God realization and without anything to stand upon, is he not lost like the scattered cloud, deprived of both God realization and heavenly enjoyment? Krishna, only you are capable to remove this doubt of mine completely, for none other than you can dispel this doubt. Sri Bhagwan said, Arjun, there is no fall for him either here or hereafter, for, O my beloved, none who strives for self-redemption ever mates with evil destiny. Such a person who has strayed from yoga obtains the higher worlds to which men of meritorious deeds alone are entitled, and having resided there for immeasurable years, takes birth of pious and prosperous parents. Or if he is possessed of dispassion, then not attain to those reasons he is born in the family of enlightened yogi. But such a birth in this world is very difficult to obtain. Arjun, he automatically regains in that birth the latencies of even-mindedness of his previous birth, and through that he strives harder than ever for perfections in the form of God realization. The other one who takes birth in a rich family, though under the sway of his senses, feels drawn toward God by force of habit acquired in his previous birth. Nay, even the seeker of yoga in the form of even-mindedness transcends the fruit of actions performed with some interest motive as laid down in the Vedas. The yogi, however, who diligently takes up the practice, attains perfection in this very life with the help of latencies of many births, and being thoroughly purged of sin, forthwith reaches the supreme state. The yogi is superior to the ascetics. He is regarded superior even to those versed in sacred law. The yogi is also superior to those who perform action with some interested motive. Therefore, Arjun, do become a yogi. Of all yogis, again, he who devotedly worships me with his mind focused on me is considered by me to be the best yogi. Thus, in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjun in the sixth chapter entitled The Yoga of Self-Control. So friends, this was the sixth chapter. The title was The Yoga of Self-Control. Tomorrow I will read seventh chapter. This is the book I am reading, the Bhagwat Gita or the Song Divine. Thank you for your time. I will meet you in 15 to half an hour for gup sup gossip talking. Okay, bye.